Thank you. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the talk. So first, you probably noticed, or some of you might have noticed, that there was a change in the program. So originally, there should be Dominic. Unfortunately, he got injured this week, so I had to prepare a presentation yesterday. So hopefully, it's going to be okay. I took something which I presented somewhere else. But yeah, and Dominic is sending highs. He injured his knee, so he might need an MCP server for his knee, if you know what the MCP server is. So, a few words about me. So, I'm a CTO at Profic, and at Profic we do software engineering services, which means we develop software for money. And we did a lot of AI applications lately. But the second part of the AI is definitely AI-powered development, which means that we are using AI to develop software faster and better and so on. Because if you imagine it, in the future, there will be just AI building the apps for us, and we will have no jobs. So for us, it's really crucial to be really invested in this and educate our developers and push hard in the AI-powered development. So, who is using AI for the development? Please raise your hand. Okay, so I think that most of you is using AI, and we were like for a long time we were asking this question to our developers as well. But we learned that there is a huge difference between, yes, I'm using AI, but it matters, in which way you are using the AI. I think that we can split it like into 4 groups. One is, no one, that the person is not using AI for development, like nothing. And for the some of you who are using agents and so on, you might be saying like, hey, that's crazy. But yes, I do have interviews, and on those interviews, the guys are saying, hey, I've never used AI for the code. I don't trust it. It doesn't work, and so on and so on. Then there is a group of people who is like using AI, but they are using just chat. They are using ChatGPT because that was released like 3 years ago, and they are still using it the same way. And then there is the more powerful users who are using some integrated things in the IDE, and maybe there are like superpower users who are using like agenting approach, and the application is built mainly by AI. And of course, there is a big difference between the way you are using it. Some of you, or some of us, myself included, are just vibe coding the application and not checking the output at all. But there are also different ways how to use it and use it properly. So the categories of the AI which we could be using. So first, we have chat-based AI assistants. So that could be ChatGPT, Geminis, and so on. Then we have integrated code assistants, which is like Cursor, GitHub Copilot, and various other plugins which you can have in your IDE. And the third version is the embedded or integrated AI features in our tools or platforms. So if you are using Notion, there is Notion AI. If you are using Figma, now there are AI features. Or in Sentry for error logging, you can see like the AI features for debugging the errors and more things around it. So from these 3 categories, I would say that the most important one is the integrated code assistants, because that's giving us the most power, that's giving us the most value out of the features. Because the third one, if it's integrated in some application or tool, that's really good, but we cannot influence it. That's on Figma or that's on Notion to implement those features. But the code assistant and the CLI, that's something which we can do. And the chat-based one is also good, but it's good for a particular tasks. So when you would be thinking about AI-powered development, you would immediately jump, or I assume you would immediately jump to like code generation. But we can use AI in additional fields as well. So even before we jump into the code, we can do some AI things with, for example, idea and requirements gathering. So maybe your company is running, or you are developing some product, and you have a help desk, right? And you are getting a customer feedback. And this is exactly something where LLMs are awesome, because they can very quickly understand the feedback, they can structuralize it, and they can maybe find also the reports which were already created, and maybe they are for the same bug. So that's one part where we can improve our process, or our development process. The second part, I would say, is system design and architecture. Usually, this is useful in the areas which are completely new to you. So there is a saying that the AI is really not that good in the area you are expert at, but it's very good in the areas you don't know, right? So for the new areas and new things, I think that the AI is awesome, and I'm using it for everything when I don't include like coding, but fixing my car or my heating. So if we would go to the code-related things, so there is a lot of things which we can do with an AI to help us develop the applications. So first, the obvious one, we can generate the code, but there are some additional things. So there's a test generation. The AI is really good at unit testing. Also, these days, end-to-end testing. So if you were on the QA stage, Marcel from WOPI, he was introducing or showing the Playwright MCP agents. And I think just 6 days ago or last week, they released some new updates to this. Also, it could be great for test-driven development, where you can say the AI first generate the test cases, you will verify that the test cases are correct, and then you can just tell the AI, hey, now generates the application based on those test cases. And these approaches are awesome, because the AI can iterate, and it can know what's the right outcome. So test-driven development, then obviously like debugging, code explanation, guides, writing code reviews. Awesome area which is usually boring, or you don't want to do it, and AI can fast track that as well. And documenting, that's a big area. Usually the applications are not well documented. With AI, you can very quickly create documentation, but you can also, for example, very quickly do things like when you go into like new code base or new area of your code base, you can just ask, hey, explain to me what this service does, or explain to me what this class is about, and immediately you can get the answers like immediately, without getting through all the functions and all the things. So the second thing is what we can use, or what we can do with the AI. So obviously, building or code, that's the main thing you would think about. But actually, the AI might not be like that might not be the best use case. It's usually where we try it and when we do it, but I would say that it excels in other use cases, as for example, doing POC, some handoff artifacts or example apps. So, for example, recently, like the tools like lovable.dev or bold new, replay it, and all these things where you can just write prompt and it gives you application, and you say, oh, great application, but actually that's completely broken, it doesn't work, and so on. But this is actually good. And it can be good, for example, for your product manager. So we use it in a way that the product manager, before he would sit down with the UI UX, the person, and for 6 hours they would be scoping out how it should look like. Now the product manager, he just writes this prompt into the lovable. It throws out some output, some application. He can tweak it. Then he gives this to the UX person, and the UX person makes the nice UI, which we can then build in our application. And it's saving a lot of time in the whole process. So there's like the POCs, hands-off artifacts, example apps. Internal tools, that's amazing area, because this is exactly an area which you would before AI, you would not invest your time in it. These are like things like processing some kind of, I don't know, CSV or something you would do like once a month, right? And if you think, how long it would take you to write a script to automate it for once a month, you would need to do it for 2 years for the time to come back. So you never automated it, you always did it manually. But now with AI, it's super easy to automate these scripts and doing these simple things. And another amazing thing about this is that it's not in the critical path, right? It's not, you don't care about the quality of the code. You know the input, you know the output, and you just care that it happens somehow. So like internal tools, amazing thing to do with AI. And the fourth area is the automation of the processes. So that's something we did even before AI, but I would say that now with AI, we can do it even faster. Another area about the tools is the context. And context is everything, basically. Did I skip a slide? No. Basically, the AI needs to have an access to the whole code base. It needs to have access to the context of the file to be able to provide you the correct answers and so on. Also, what's important is to have a human written context. So the more inputs you give to the AI, the better outputs you will get. So often, what I heard is that, hey, I told the AI to build me something, but let's say some function, but it's doing it completely wrong. It's giving me, it's using different library, it's not adhering to our styles or whatever. But the issue is not with the AI, but it's an issue in the input or in the way we have the AI set up. So context, and the another really important thing is the feedback loop. So the AI tool needs to be able to execute the code. Ideally, it has access to tools on your computer. It can scan the code base. It can find additional things. It can go online and fetch a documentation. So if you imagine, how we coded, or when ChatGPT came out 2 or 3 years ago, you would, give it some prompt. It would give you code. You would copy it into your application, execute it. There's an error, so you would write to the ChatGPT, hey, there's error. It would give you another output. And this way of using AI is completely wrong. You don't want to give it or tell it what's happening. It needs to have access to it and automatically do it for you. So these days, when you have like tools like Cursor, an AI agent, you just give it a prompt, which telling it what you want it for it to do. It executes, or it creates a code. It executes the code. It can test. It can create test files, and all these other things to basically provide you at the end with fully functioning code. So yeah, as I said, chat-based AI assistants are really not that good for code generation. They might be good for the task as I mentioned before, but integrated code assistants and CLIs, that's exactly what you need. It needs to have the project context. It needs to be able to create files, edit files under your fingerprints, and it needs to be able to run the commands with approval, or you can go like the YOLO mode and you can tell it, hey, do whatever you want with my computer. So hopefully you have everything backed up. So, some AI code generations as of 2025. So we have custom IDEs, so that's like things like Cursor or Windsurf. Then we have some IDE plugins like Augment Code, also Windsurf, GitHub Copilot, CLI tools, Cloud Code, Codex, OG, background agents. So these days it's called background agents or remote agents. You can just give it a task on GitHub or somewhere, and it will do everything somewhere on the server and just produce you a PR for you to review. And also we have some prototype tools like Replicate, Lovable, and so on for like quickly prototyping. They are claiming that they can build an applications. I don't think so. but for prototyping, I would say that it's pretty good. So if you imagine that you are using, let's say, GitHub Copilot or some IDE tool, you might be using like AI autocompletion. That's I would say okay. If it completes that one line for you, but I would use it just for that one line. I wouldn't want it for me to generate a full function, because at that point I would much rather be using like agentic mode, where you give it a task, you describe what you want to do, and it will do those changes in your code base, because very often it's not just about writing one function, but you need to update the imports. You need to go to a different file. You want this utility function to live in the utility class, and so on and so on. And that's what you can do with agentic mode. Also, in the past, there was this chat with code base. Sometimes now the tools are deprecating it, and I saw that it's called like Ask the Code Base, but some tools still have like the chat. That was like the original GitHub Copilot, that you had a chat window where you could just ask the questions. I would say that's quite deprecated these days. Another important thing when you are writing or using AI tools is AI rules or rules files. So the function or the AI agent can have access to your context, so it knows how your files are structured, but it doesn't mean that it will generate the code in correct way or in the way you like. So that's what you can do with AI rules. Basically, it's a simple file where you just write in simple English, how the AI thing should behave. And for example, you can put there things like, always generate only some syntax, or you can tell it that, hey, we are using this kind of library, and so on. And mostly in JavaScript, I would say that it's very useful, because in JavaScript, as you know, we have 1,000 libraries for one single thing. So it's very useful there to really specify and aim the AI in the way you want it to work with. Also, what I noticed in the past is that the developer, in every message he explain exactly how he wants for this to work, and that's, you don't need to explain again and again in every message. You can use the AI rules for it, and it can be very complex. You can have multiple files. You can, for example, say, hey, if you are building an API, here are rules for our API. When you are talking to the database, here are rules files for our database, how you should be creating the ORM model, and so on. And in the end, if you have very good rule files, my prompt to the AI agent could be just like, create new schema with, let's say, a car. It will have these fields, and that's it. And it will create me the schema exactly how we use it in the application, because it will look at the rules files and know how we write the schema, how we import things, and do everything correctly. And also, perfect thing is that the rules files are committed; they are part of the repository. So, like, all your team and everyone can benefit from it. So, if one guy, you invest, let's say, I don't know, a couple of days for clarifying and making the rules perfect, then the rest of the team can use that and be very proactive with it. Here is some example of the rules file. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's like very simple. So, for example, over here, code style, like this is JavaScript, so prefer arrow functions over function declaration. And now the AI will never create me a function, but it will always use arrow function from JavaScript. So some tools which I would not recommend. So there is a lot of tools which you can use, and the tools are evolving like every month, like every quarter. All the tools are getting better and better. But I would say that these are the tools which, from our experience and also with talking to the other companies and other CTOs, it's usually where the developers are complaining, hey, the AI is not really good. And we are like, hey, the AI is really good, you can use it. and they're saying, no, it's not good. And then we ask, what are you using? And they say, oh, we are on GitHub Copilot, and we have the lowest tier, paying just $10 for it. And that's the problem. You are using a tool. So also, what's really important is that even though the tools might have the same models, so for example, the Copilot have GPT-5, it will probably not be producing the same code and same output as a Cursor or some other tools which are also using GPT-5 if you want. So, they are getting better, but from our experience over the past 2 years, these tools are not producing the best results for us. So the tools which are providing really good results and which we are using in our company and which we are recommending to all our customers and everyone, I would say it's a Cursor, it's an Augment Code, and it's a Claude Code CLI. All of them have benefits and what's so not. So the Cursor problem is that it's IDE, right? Sometimes you have I don't know, you are in C# world and you have Visual Studio and you cannot go away from from that tool. So for you, the CLI might be the best option because you can still use your IDE, but you can have a CLI. Augment Code is great in a way that it has plugins. So it has plugins to VS Code, it has plugins to JetBrains, all the JetBrains tools. So you can still live in your IDE and utilize pretty good completion and AI and so on. But as I said, tools which right now we are most happy with. Most likely there are other tools which are also good. For example, the Codex from OpenAI is also good, but we think the Claude is better. And the pricing. So sometimes you might be saying that if you know the Czech magazine D-Test, and they are testing the consumer products, and very often you will find out that let's say hand soap, you have this super expensive hand soap and this hand soap from DM groceries, and basically in the end they are exactly the same. So sometimes paying more is not giving you that better benefit, but I would say that with the AI tools, it is. So the Cursor, the Augment Code, and Claude, they are pretty expensive. So over here are some ranges, what you can get it, but what you really need for like effective working is like this range, and you can see that these tools are quite expensive per month, but I would say that they are worth, and I would definitely recommend, if you are like professional and you are using it every day, it will pay off itself very quickly, and hopefully your company can provide it for you. But if not, I would invest it my own money to do so. So yeah, maybe something about the GitHub Copilot. So we were. I think 2 weeks ago we were in Prague and they were using the GitHub Copilot and they were like, oh, it's actually not giving me, it's not really good. It doesn't know the context. And the other engineer, it was like, oh, but you can actually select the files, so you can, pin the files and then it knows the context. And we were like, oh no, you don't pin the files. You don't need to do this. Because if you are using the right tools like Cursor and Augment Code, they automatically index all your code base and they will automatically pick the right files for you. So you don't need to pin them. You don't need to specify exactly. Obviously, if you have very specific task, you can do so. So for example, you can reference a file and say, hey, do it exactly how it is done in this file. But generally speaking, if you are using the right tools, you don't need to specify like every single file which it should touch or every single file which it should work with. So I would say that's definitely a downside of GitHub Copilot. But they are getting better. Like they were the first on the market. We were using GitHub Copilot for a very long time. We had all the business licenses and everything. But from last year, from the January 24, we bought, for example, Augment Code and Cursor and Cloud Code because they are just better and providing better things, better results. The other thing which I was talking about is the AI code reviews. And I heard about the AI code reviews in January 25 from some other CTOs, and they were like, "Oh, it's awesome." And I was like, "Oh, I guess it's a really pretty good." But this summer we put it on one of our projects, and I can't imagine working without it. It's so good. Like it's. Even when I gave a very thorough, like, human review from myself, and then I just ran some simple, some tool for the AI review, it found things which were actually wrong, which I missed, and those are like these small things which humans very often like overlook. So if you know JavaScript, or hopefully you are using TypeScript, but even in TypeScript there can be mistakes which the compiler doesn't catch, or ASLint or something, and the AI can very quickly spot that and tell you that it's wrong. And so some tools which are pretty good, like the CodeRabbit, I would say that it was the first AI tool for AI reviews. Then there is also GitHub Copilot. So if you have a Copilot, I think that Microsoft is giving it to almost everyone. I have it on my account. I don't pay for it. I don't know why I have it, but I guess I'm in some open source library or something. But even the GitHub Copilot might be good. It might be better than nothing. And if you do pull request on GitHub, you can just, in the reviewers, you can ask, "Hey, GitHub Copilot, give me a review," and it's very helpful. But also, you know, Cursor, they added Bugbot, I think, and other providers are adding their tools because they know that this is something which like the developers want. And you can also like build your own code review with the custom CLI tools. So with Cloud Code, you can write GitHub action or some different CI tool action to provide you with a good code review. And yeah, like the instant feedback, that's amazing. You know, those nitpicking things that, you know, you would have to go and you would have like first pass from the reviewer, and you know he needs to point out that, you know, hey, actually we are writing this in different way, and it's slowing everything down. And when you have the AI review and it instantly gives you those things, and mostly for juniors, you know, if you have juniors in your team, and it immediately gives them like hints that, hey, this function should be in utility function, or it will actually tell them, hey, we actually have this implemented somewhere else, you just need to reuse it. It will save so much time for the senior guy who is doing the review, that it's just amazing. So I would definitely look into those tools. So if you have GitHub Copilot license, actually this is for free. You can enable CodeRabbit for free on open source repositories. So you know, feel free to test it out and play with it. And that's it. So I know that this was like just an overview. I was just saying that, hey, it's pretty cool and you should be using, but I didn't show anything, right? So at 3 p.m. On OpenStage, we will have a discussion from the guys from WOPI, and we would like to, you know, have a discussion and discuss with you, you know, what tools are you using, how happy are you with them, and you can also ask us, you know, any questions, and you know, maybe have some live demo or something. So yeah, that's from me. Thank you.
Okay, we have two questions from the event up. The first question is, why do you think GitHub Copilot is wrong, or why do you think it generates worse code?
Why I think it generates worse code. It's so I was talking with one of the co-founders in Silicon Valley at Augment Code actually, and I was telling him, hey, why are you afraid of Microsoft? They have GitHub Copilot, they have everything, And he was telling me that he is not afraid because Microsoft and GitHub Copilot, they are so widespread and they are focused on so different things. So they are focused on adding Copilot to Windows. They are adding it into Microsoft 365 and so on. But on the other hand, the companies like Augment Code or Cursor or Claude, they are just focused on the one single thing. They are focused on the code generation, and that's their main business use case. And that's why they will be better at it, because they have the full focus on it, while the Microsoft and GitHub are like spread like thin. And the second thing, obviously, is the price. You know, you are not paying that much for GitHub Copilot, so they cannot give you like the latest and fastest models, which even with those like big prices, like the $100 per month, I'm actually not sure if the company is making money off that. They might be losing with some power users. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And second question is, why do you think one tool that uses the same AI model as another tool can give a different, better tool?
Yeah, yeah. So this is mostly seen in the agentic mode, and it's because first the context. So like the tools like Cursor and Augment Code can give the model better context. So they have their own prompts for picking the right files and providing it to the AI to produce it, and also they have their own approaches to generating the code. So if we would go like deeper into the how to use AI agents to generate your code, you can learn about things like, hey, you actually should first create a plan. So you first ask the AI, hey, create a plan, how to do this thing, write it into MD file. The second step is you say to the AI, hey, follow this plan and implement it for me. So these are techniques which you can do to like better generate the code. And the tools like Augment Code, they can do it automatically for you. So if you give it a prompt, and you can see actually on the right side what it's doing, and it will actually create a plan. So it's first doing a plan, then it will create a task list, and then it's executing those single tasks. So it's basically like the approach, and the providers from like Cursor and Augment Code, they are building this into their tools to provide the best results.
Okay, perfect. And we have 3-4 minutes. Have somebody questions from the public? Okay, I didn't see anything. Thank you so much.